Hello, welcome to another Magic the Gathering Friday artwork video. So this week, once again, I've delved into my box of precons and pulled out this, which is a Torment theme deck, Grave Danger. And this, well, the reason why I selected this one is because it synchronises nicely with other Torment cards that I've been talking about this week, both in the Deck Musings episode and the Commander Fodder episode. So let's open this up. I'll just actually flip over the back here so you can see this if you're not familiar with this deck. So we have on the back and then the side that in addition to this deck there were 3 other decks. So I'll do like I always do with these videos. I will, for the first half, go through the whole deck, zoomed out I suppose, for want of a better word, so we can actually see the cards in all their glory, rules, text and all. And then we'll switch to the usual sort of zoomed in up close so we can look at the artwork in a lot more detail. So that'll be in the second half of the video. Again, with these themes deck of this period, you've got a questionnaire comes in it, and then just these fold-out sheets where you've got on one part or one side. Oops. You have, if I can show you. Okay, there we go. There's the deck contents on one side, and then you've got a bit about how to play the deck, which extends up to the top there. And then, oh yeah, this side, which is more to do with the themes and mechanics around this time period, around Torment. So we've got Madness there, quite a long extended section on Madness, and then there's something about Nightmares, and then a little bit about the Torment story as well. So a little bit of everything in here. So yeah, these decks also, you got a nice sort of foil basic land in addition to the deck. So I think it just so happens with this deck it is in, you know, one of the colours, but yeah, this is not part of the deck, this is in addition. So these were cropping up in theme decks. But you'll probably notice the foiling is actually on the inner frame. The artwork itself doesn't appear to be foiled. Okay, so let's have a look here. See what we have. So, a single Cephalid Vandal. Oh, false memories there. A Cephalid Illusionist. Psychotog is in the deck, and there are 2 copies of Psychotog. You've got a Cephalid Broker. You'll know a bit of there's a bit of looting going on in this deck. Belshan Collaborator, which actually needs black mana for the pump ability. So you'll see here there's you know, some discard stuff, some looting, some graveyard shenanigans, basically anything that's going to lead to cards going in or coming out of the graveyard. propulsions there. Let's break through. We've got an edict here, Chainer's Edict. So forces a target player to sack a creature. Also has flashback on it as well, though flashback cost is quite a lot more expensive than the regular cost. So this flashback cost is the cost of casting it from the graveyard once it's in there. But once it's been cast through flashback, it does get exiled. So there's a couple of Chainer's Edict. Aquamoeba. So more discard. And in reward you get to switch the power and toughness. And there are 3 copies of that card. Crypt Keeper, which if you sack it, allows you to remove a target card in a graveyard from the game. So a bit of graveyard hate there. There's a couple of those. Skywing Avon. And you can see more discard here. Cephalid Looter, so more looting. There's actually a couple of copies of that. Organ Grinder, which is the artwork that's used on the deck box itself. This one you remove 3 cards in your graveyard from the game, and the target player loses 3 life. Looks like we have 4 copies of that. Yep. We have a Zombie Assassin. Another card leveraging your graveyard. Another Cephalid. It's the Aristocrat. We've got an Obsessive Search in here. It's a card draw with Madness. And of course again in this deck, you've got cards which are facilitating discard, and of course if you happen to be in a position to be able to discard a Madness card, then you can discard it, then you can play it at that point for its Madness cost. Two of those. We've got an Afflict as well, and what's that? 2 of those. Careful Study. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand. So another Looter. This is a sorcery. And we have 2 of those. We've got Morgue Theft. Way of getting creatures back from your graveyard. It does also have flashback on it. Churning Eddy. Returns target creature and target land to their owner's house. So a bounce card. There's a couple of those. And in the mana base we've got a Tainted Isle. So add 1 colourless mana to your mana pool. Tap, add blue or black to your mana pool. Play this ability only if you control a swamp. So the condition is on the tapping of the land for coloured mana. Now we've seen conditional cards like that later in Magic, but they tend to be whether they come into play tapped or not. With this one it's interesting, it's actually on the ability to generate the mana itself. 2 of those, and then we move on to the nice basic land here. So I've grouped together the same artwork. So that's our first piece of artwork. There's 3 copies of that in the deck. Next piece. 3 copies of that. The 3rd land artwork. 3 of those, and there's the 4th. So it does feature all 4 pieces of land artwork for the islands. And then we have just 2 copies of that. So now we move on to the swamps. 3 copies of the first piece of artwork. Very nice swamps in this set, I think, anyway. And we'll see that in a moment once we get up close. Look at the single copies of these. So we're on to our third piece of artwork. Again, very nice gnarly swamps there. And then the final piece. There's a couple of copies of that. So let's zoom in and have a close-up look at this artwork. Actually, we'll just show the individual cards here. I'm not going to show the duplicates. Although here you probably notice there's quite a few one-offs in this deck. But I'm trying to remember if this is the first card deck I featured of these older theme decks where there's a 4 of. I can't remember specifically, but it's not always something you see in a theme deck. They tend to work, you know, or they tend to have high variance in the deck, so it makes the games a little bit more unique, and you don't get bored with the deck quite so quickly. But also it does encourage you to buy more magic cards to maybe remove that variance. It's funny, I always prefer high variance stuff, so I think that's probably why I like sealed. Sorry, what do I meant to say? Why I like, building decks from, say, a sealed card pool where you've got like 6 packs of product, that sort of thing, because it's just so variable. You know, when you're drafting, you can sculpt the deck a little bit better. Yeah, very interesting, of its time artwork. And we would have seen, you know, some of these cards in this week's deck musings. Again, as I've mentioned while I've been dealing with this particular block, you'll notice the presence of the tombstone symbol in the top corner on some of these graveyard shenanigan cards. And that basically lasted, I think, for just this block. So again, the artwork that features on the cover of the deck box. I'll include a link if I track down. I'm pretty sure I did an unboxing for this deck when I bought it, and if I track it down I'll include it in the description. It's funny, I do get the odd deck which I've been featuring in deck flip throughs and various other things, where it turns out that I never actually did an unboxing for some strange reason. It mainly happens with very early product I bought. When I think on the channel I was mainly opening packs and like some other pack related product. Okay, so for all you land aficionados out there like me, we're now on to the best bit. So let's have a look at the Tainted Isle artwork. Very cool. In fact, there was a cycle of tainted lands. Now we will move on to the basic lands. So this is my favourite, I think. It's funny as I look like that, and I think they are just growths, but it's funny how when you look at those, it does look like hooded figures. Like some of them definitely look like figures in a hooded cloak. And I assume it's just outgrowths from the ground. I think I've mentioned before, I do particularly like the swamp artwork in this set, like all of it. There we go, there's the final piece of artwork that they have in this deck. Again, another very nice nice piece of artwork. And there we have it. If you enjoyed that, thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I'll catch you in the next video.